Grass light. That should burn pretty quickly. Only a little bit of paper. Probably didn't even need that with all the grass I had to play with. So I want that to just go away and burn there. Oh, that's a nice zoom. And the rest. One right there. Now that's going to smother it. One right there. I'm going to take these and move them out a little bit. Create some space in between. Let the fire through. And there we go. A little bit smoky, but it should be good. Right. Let's talk about history while we wait for this to burn down to coals. History is very interesting. So, well, let's say back in ye old Stone Ages, 4,000, now let's go with 8,000 BC. Man basically actually didn't work that much. Just had to go get a rock, throw it at something, kill it, and you could eat your food and be happy. That's all. And yeah, that was basically the whole story. Chase things down, kill them, throw a rock at something, kill them, develop bows, develop spears, kill things with that, eat them, do a little hunting gathering, get some clothing, spend time with the wife. Very simple. Man didn't work that much. He did have to work, but actually relatively wasn't all that much. Hunting and gathering trips take a bit of time, but once you get your food, you're like set for a week. Now, at some point down the line, grain harvesting was developed, and gathering and planting, and it turned into someone could basically feed themselves for a whole year by doing 4 weeks of work. Created a huge boom in productivity because everyone was fed very easily. You had all your food stored in a grain silo. Domestication of the cat potentially started at that time because it went to protect the grain silo because there's a bunch of mice who were like, oh, this is easy food, and that's easy food for the cats. And humans gave them other things. So, time moved on. We're going to skip forward quite a bit. A lot of history, but we're going to skip forward to the medieval period. So, we're going to look at a specific little wet island in the world called England. Serfs, peasants, freemen, all sorts of people working on farms. So, their job, if we go to the basic peasant farmer, was to work a piece of land and also do work for their lord. Now some say that, oh, peasants had 120 days off in the year, they had 120 holidays. They might have had more than that, honestly. If you look at some of the stats, they might have had like 150, not just 120, different levels of work. One of the things about that is on their holiday time, they actually took holiday as well. People are like, oh, well, it was a holiday time, but they still did work after. No, they took holiday on their holiday time. They definitely holidayed on that. On top of that, they couldn't really work during the winter. They did different kinds of jobs. They had winter jobs, like clearing out the ice and still taking care of the chickens if you were lucky enough to have some for laying, doing stuff for the pigs, doing some butchering, doing repairs around your house, hanging out, going for walks, rebuilding fences, winter jobs. Not fun jobs, but winter jobs were done, but they weren't done as much. And one of the big limiters of time as well, they just had like a hard time limit in the medieval period. If it was dark, it was hard to work. There's candles and various other torches, but didn't want to waste those. So after dark, work became a lot more limited. Now during the day, they worked hard, but they worked as much as they needed to, because there's a certain amount that you needed to do. You'd work for your lord, you'd work for yourself, work on land that sort of belonged to you, sort of didn't. It's a weird mix of things, but they did work. They did it semi-inebriated. Alcohol was the drug of the time, everyone was drinking it, so a lot of people were really drunk. So yeah, a lot of alcohol was drunken. A lot of drinking. That was one of the main things that people did, was drink. It was great fun. And it led to a society of a little bit going slower, a little more easygoing. Not super harsh, but they definitely progressed and did things, but everything wasn't go-go, unless it was wartime. I mean, if war happens, all bets are off, the whole dynamic changes. But in peacetime, it's pretty peaceful. And so you do your 6 hours of work, whatever. There's people who can be more accurate about, oh, they had lunch at this time, all this stuff. People say they did this and they had a super big schedule. We're just guessing from letters and things and limited guesswork and records and the doomsday book, all that stuff. But realize you might have just worked for 4 hours or whatever and then hung out. And of course, they were also doing mundane tasks like sewing clothing, washing themselves, preparing supper. And some people say, no, the medieval peasant worked really hard. They're doing all these jobs. No, that's the mundanity of life. We all do the mundanity of life. We all have to wash our dishes, wash our clothes, prepare ourselves food, fix up the house. That's not a part of your job, that's your life. And the peasants had to spend a lot more time at that because they didn't have washing machines and other such stuff, but that was the mundanity of life. That wasn't work, to get that clear. That wasn't actually work. Not as what we consider it. Anyways, so in reality, I figure from human expectation, the drugs they're doing at the time, and various other records I've looked at, I'm not going to have any sources because I can't be bothered, but my fair guess is they probably had a pretty laid back to a relative sense, given what they had at the time, and they were working probably about 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes maybe only. They were working about 5 to 6 days a week, and they're probably working 6-hour days, sometimes 8. If the harvest is coming in, you have to work all day, but if the harvest is not coming in, then you can just take some time off. You can do some other stuff. And of course, there's constant holidays and little festivals and fairs, and they won't be working at those times, and various other things. So overall, if we were to equivocate and break it down, they're probably doing maybe 6 hours a week. 6 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, if we broke it down, actually. Not doing the math here. But their life wasn't super go, 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 you must always work, you are a slave. No, these are peasants in England. We're not in Eastern Europe or Asia or Africa or any of those kingdoms. This is Western Europe, specifically England. They had rights, more than a lot of other places. Anyways, then this funny little thing happened, where a guy found some black rock in the ground, lit it on fire, and boiled some steam, and made steam power, and thus started the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution was insane. People could produce more than they ever had ever in insane quantities. And for some reason, with this new abundance, everyone started producing like crazy, and jobs were moved into the cities, and there's big things everyone was go, 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 export, create, export, create, export, create, leading to a work culture of like 7 days a week, not quite, it was 6 days a week, for 12 to 14 hours a day job. And little sub jobs show up because people didn't have time to stay at home, so people would hire servants to take care of their house and look after them. And then some of those people who hired servants would actually be servants themselves for even richer people. And this weird servant butler market appeared during that time, which is really funny. But on top of that, everyone's just working way too much and way too hard. So, alcohol, still very popular at that time. People started doing a lot more. Tobacco started coming in from the New World, so people are doing tobacco. Ooh, tobacco's a great drug. It's zings you up, makes it so you can do a little bit more work. It also relaxes you at the same time. It does all sorts of fun things. And opium, very popular at the time. So everyone's doing opium. And opium's great. It relaxes you and mellows you out. Hard day of work. Oh, I've been working really hard. I have a little bit of PTSD from my service in the military. I was fighting the Boer War. Just go and sit in the lounge and smoke some opium after doing the factory job for 10 hours a day. So that was the drug at the time. People worked way too hard in the Industrial Revolution. So, let's skip forward in time a little bit. A gentleman known as Henry Ford and his car-making factories. Now, he wanted people to be able to afford his product, and he also wanted his workers to make him money. See, Henry Ford wanted to make money, and he was an uber capitalist. So Ford went, the best way to become uber capitalist is pay my people enough to buy my product, and also, I think we should give them a short work week, because everyone's exhausted and low morale. So Henry Ford sold a promise that you would have a good life, and you'd be able to work to a certain amount. And once you finished up your work, you could go home and have a good day. You could afford a house, you could afford one of his cars. And his work week was set to 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That was his plan. And people loved it. And Ford, he was thinking to his future. He's like, this is just the beginning. Because people will figure out this is so good that everyone's going to start doing it. But it's still not optimal yet. We need to make it a little bit more optimal. How do we make it a little bit more optimal? Well, probably going to have to tweak it and move it around. And in the future, it's going to be slightly less work that people are probably going to. I don't know if it's going to be a 4-day week or it's going to be 6 hours a week, but people are going to work less. That's the plan. That is the plan. Anyways, so other people didn't like these ideas as much, and other drugs were becoming popular at the time, like cocaine and coffee, and tobacco was becoming easier and easier to get. And a lot of these drugs were developed during this wonderful period called World War II. Going to skip over World War II besides the drug development, which really did some work on getting us all these wonderful drugs. And these drugs had a massive impact on society. Because before society, for a long time, had been a society that was constantly drunk. So everyone was kind of chill. And then it turned to a society where everyone was on opium. That's a whole different story. Then it's turned to a society where everyone's on coffee and tobacco. And that's a very high-strung, very productive society that's going to die at the age of 67. And that's the society we got. And so everyone's working, they're doing overtime, they're working, they take the coffee so they can keep working, they go home, they want to have a longer period for rest, to do the mundanity of life. We're developing things to help with that, but it's still not enough. The washing machine isn't enough, those clothes washers isn't enough, the vacuum cleaner isn't enough. Why aren't they not enough? Well, because some brilliant marketing person went, you know what, let's have your wife work as well. And so the mundanity of the household, well, it's way easier, massive production boost. Its ability went from one person to basically no people to be produced. That was a very short period. The women have always worked, let's be perfectly honest. It's a very short period where they didn't, but they always had slightly different jobs. They worked slightly less. And they did more of the household mundanity thing to make up for stuff. But no, that was scrubbed out of the way. So we've lost that time, so both partners have to do it more. And they want more time now. So you're not going to get as much sleep. So you're going to get 6 hours of sleep. And you might work a little bit at home. And once you've only had 6 hours of sleep, well, how do you deal with that? You drink more coffee. And so society became based around coffee. And everyone worked really hard because they had coffee, they're fueled on. And there's also other factors involved with this of like you were promised that if you worked hard, you'd actually get something from it and you could retire, all that stuff. And now, we have a new generation who's coming along who doesn't drink coffee. Not as much anyways. They don't smoke, they don't do alcohol, they don't do a lot of the drugs because they saw it drive their parents insane and slowly destroy them. And they are called a lazy group of people because they don't want to work as much. Work as much as who, though? See, there's only really a short 300? There's about 350 year period where humans actually worked as hard as they did. Worked too much, to be perfectly honest. And they've lost a lot of the benefit they had, because a medieval peasant still had a house. Guess who doesn't? Guess who's renting? And some could say, well, the peasant owned the house. Yeah, it was basically theirs. There's some interesting stuff involved with it, but the house was basically theirs. A lot of historians are just doing their best guess, and a lot of history is old, and a lot of people actually don't know more than one. See, one of the things you have to figure about history, you have to know about history, is humans are humans, and humans have been humans for a very long time. So, if humans are humans, and humans have been humans for a very long time, then think about what you want in your life and the human things. Don't think about your culture. Think about devoid cultures a little bit hard. What you want, what you should have, all those things. And yeah, think about the human stuff you want. So if you take that line of logic, then you can sort of figure out history a lot better than just going, oh yes, in the past it was like this because everyone was stupid and didn't know things. Not really. It's a little wrong. A little knuckleheaded. So we probably don't need to work 5 days a week for 40 hours. 5 days, 4 hours? I work 6 days for 10 hours. I'm a man. Hoorah. You have to get in the grind, save the grind. Yeah. You can do that. You can be hyper successful. You can get your name known in the world. You can make a ton of money. Not everyone wants that. Some people just want to be NPCs. It's not even to call them NPCs. Some people just want to be hobbits. That's a better term than an NPC. NPC is not the right term here. It's people want a good life where they can relax, they can be content. You don't want to be happy, you want to be content. People want to be content, people want to be stable. You want to have an adventure now again. You know, hobbits are adventurous. They'll go off on an adventure like Bilbo. But then you get to come home and smoke your pipe and sit in your house and write your book about your adventures. That's what the vast majority of people want. And the 40-hour work week, the 8 hours a day, 5 whatever it is, makes that really tough. Especially when you figure out those people weren't actually working. God. Young people, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you go to a job site and it's like, oh yeah, you have to work for 8 hours and the expectations are so high, and the first day you work and people say, oh, slow down, boy, slow down, you're working too hard. You need to work a little less there, buddy. Yes, you can't get all the work done in a day. That's your whole week of work. It's like, what? Really? That's how things go? Other factors, of course, can add on to that. I mean, Sometimes you become incapable of working for basically a year and you can barely do a couple of hours work a week. But you can get better from that too. And then things become easier again. I think we're getting close to ready here. What I want to do now is loosen them up a little bit and shift them about. So I'm going to stack this one on top here. So it can burn a little faster and burn down in size because it's too big. So flip it over. Immediately heat starts pouring out of that. Pull it in. We'll let that keep burning down, and we'll get the ember right in the spot between the thumb and fingers. Ooh, that hurts. That should start burning down faster. Thought I was going to be ready. That piece is bigger. I might just remove that piece, honestly. Put it to the side. Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's do that. Here, break down, get them much lower, put that one on top here, shake those, get some of those down there. It's all hot, nice, still fire pouring from it. That'll go right about there. And then this will go right about there. Got that little twig that's sticking up there. Want that to burn down a bit more. Well, I'll go grab my stuff. Sit tight, watch the fire for me. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. How's it looking? Ooh, that's looking good. Let's crumple down differently. That middle one could be dusted a little bit. Maybe a lot of heat in the middle there. That'll be fine. Alright. So, don't have any fancy steaks. Got burger. Let's see how this turns out. Put that over there. Right here, sizzle. I'll put this one over here. I'll lose that. And got some frozen fish. So we'll see how that turns out. One there. One right there. This would probably go absolutely horrible. Yeah, far finer grate than that, I think. Also, don't know if I have enough heat left anymore. I mean, there's still fire. So we'll see. I might have let my embers too low, though. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? Also, the fish is frozen, so it's just thawing right now. Just put that right under the fire. Let it burn. Oh yeah. We're proper cook here. Got some raw beef on my flipper as well. Don't really want to deal with that, so I'm going to scrape it off. I'm going to sanitize the flipper. Funny enough, I actually have food safe training. This is not how you do it. Let me tell you that for certain. Yeah, there's like no heat for this. This has to move. Look at the eyes. Can't see. There we are. Oh, oh. Absolutely glorious. This has no structure to it. It's probably cooking far too fast on the bottom. Not enough anywhere else. I split the beef brick too thin. So I'm going to put it onto my spatula and leave it like that and let it cook that way. Because I am a genius. And then when it comes to time to flip it, hopefully I don't lose a whole bunch of the meat. So it comes down to I can just microwave everything if it's not cooked enough. Ooh, the fish is breaking apart. That was what I feared would happen. I think I'm gonna lose the fish. And my glove is only so heat resistant. Definitely losing some of this fish. Well, the fire gods will appreciate the offerings. I have to leave these to cook for quite a while here. I knew the fish would be a bad idea. This stuff has no skin on the back. You need skin on the back to hold it together if you're cooking it on such a flimsy grill. Thankfully, that's not the most expensive fish. Still sucks to lose it. We'll just leave it for a bit and let it really cook itself out. See what happens. The beef looks like it's catching fire. Just the fat dripping down, burning actually, thankfully. I could put my frying pan down on this, I just realized. That would be a way smarter thing to do for the fish. To actually have my frying pan on top of this. There's a cast iron frying pan, it can handle that. I'm an idiot. Anyways, where are we at here? 41 minutes of recorded time. That's when I started. So it's almost taking me an hour to cook. It's probably going to take another 2 to 5 minutes at least for me to feel safe with eating this food. Maybe not that burger further back actually. You might be able to get that one. Let's see. Now, still a little bit of red in there. Needs a little bit longer. This fish actually. I might try to recover this fish here. I'm gonna go get a fork. Because I don't want to leave things on the heat. Yeah, I planned barley. Alright. We'll use nature's fork. Plate closer here. We'll use the nature's fork, the mighty twig. Okay, come on. Ooh, it's actually holding together. Yeah, that fish is done. Ooh, that's actually going to be good. Right. Move me. There we go. Little singe. Gloves are getting hot. This one wants to escape free. I can tell. This one wants to return to the wild. Come on. Okay. That's a little bit recovered. No, lost some of that fish. I'm gonna have to lean that there and burn off. This one isn't actually even fully cooked. Yep, there goes that piece. I'm gonna leave that there. Need another stick. If you're a long-time watcher, these are the same gloves I used when making poisonous chlorine gas. Fun little bit of deep lore tidbit for you. That burger's on fire. We gotta move it. Very well done. Just the way some people like it. Okay. So, I've lost 33% of my food. My fingers are burnt because I don't have the proper gear. And this is taking a very long time to get done properly. Flip this again. I'll let my fingers and glove cool off because they're quite toasty. Quite painful. A little cooked there. And because there's bear countries and cougars and other wild animals, I have to leave this here and let it all cook away because I can't recover that. That's burnt. Look at this here. We'll look at the quality of that. Blood still coming from it. Burnt on the back. It's fish. Wonderful. Tastes a little charred. Not too bad. Honestly, could be worse. Shame about losing about half the fish though. It's actually quite crumbly, quite nice. Is here. See if the camera can focus on it. Should have seasoned it more. It's not terrible. Now the beef. Ow, it's a little hot in my hand. It holds heat a lot better than the fish. Still bleeding, still mooing as some people call it. Well, it's definitely cooked on the edges. Might just return this charred bit back to the fire. We can have that. Man, this is grim looking. There we go. Not properly cooked there. Don't want that with ground burger. Get some prions in you. Just ate that piece. What a mess. Get a little zoom in here. There we go. Look at that. Oh. Look at that cook. The other piece is actually not that bad. And it's raw. Raw-ish. It's not that bad. I've had worse stuff than this before. Haven't died yet. Although I actually don't have that mentality with rotting food and bad food. Because the more you do that to yourself, the weaker your gut becomes. Not everything makes you stronger. Some things make you a lot weaker. Oh yeah. So, why are we working 8 hours a week, 5 days a week? Sometimes some overtime on that? Seems ridiculous to me. That's why I don't do it. I did the calculation. And for me to own house, well, simply put, for my line of work, although it pays extremely well, there's just not enough of it. And so I might as well relax until it picks up again. learn a different trade, learn some more stuff, so I can actually earn some proper money. Because what I currently do just does enough to keep me puttering along. But if I was to work full-time at my job, I actually work full-time, so that'd be kind of the end of these YouTube videos when I have enough energy to do them. If I was doing 40 hours a week, what would that be? $40 hours a week. Probably get 10 files done a week, so 4,000 a week. 8, 32 a month. About 10. I could make a little more than 10,000 a year. I mean, a little more than 100,000 a year. If it did drive me insane, which it very well could. And won't be able to make YouTube videos, so it'd take far too much time. But if I did that with my current expenses, in like 2 years of overworking myself and not being able to do my hobbies and kind of just driving myself insane, I'll be able to afford down payment of a okay house. But doing that would lock me into a cycle of having to pay that house off. So I'd be stuck working like that for the next, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Job might not only exist that long. It actually has relatively low security. Could definitely apply to other areas, but they probably won't pay as much. Again, won't be able to do my hobbies. Be exhausted all the time. Won't be happy. So I'll just make small amounts of money and make really terrible cooking videos where I ramble about history and make Minecraft videos. My dad's apparently cooked like cinnamon buns on an open fire, so maybe I'll try some baking over a fire. Sounds like a terrible idea. That should be about done. I'm going to let go a little bit longer though, not overcook. Those are the kind of coals we want to be cooking on earlier, and the fish we need like something more for it to go on than that. Like even just a hot rock. Wash off a hot rock and put it in the fire. Scrape it off the rock. Rather than try to have it go on the grill. That was a terrible idea. The ravens will probably get to it before a bear notices. So they'll be fine. Or a fox will chew away at the grate. Yeah. Oh, that's a burger. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. This is a surfing turf as well. It's got a little bit of fish on it. I think that's what surfing turf means. Fish and meat. Oh, crack open inside and it is so undercooked. Oh my god. Charred on the outside, not very cooked on the inside. That is going back onto the grill. Slightly modified. There we go. Pan's covered in grease. They don't have a fork out here. Forgot to grab one. I mean, it's literally a couple of minutes away, but I'm too lazy to do that. Ooh, we're almost on an hour. Maybe I'll get a meal cooked in an hour. Oh, won't that be something? That's why pottage is brilliant. You can just put it on the fire and leave it to boil away, and you can eat that later. That's something I should make. I reckon I have a pot that I could sacrifice to throw on top of a fire. I could put on this grill setup, and I can make some pottage, do some proper medieval cooking. Come up with a topic for that as well. That'd be good. And my camera skills, also top rate. Using a phone camera, film audio. Oh, look at that. You gotta see everything cook and be all uncut and unfiltered, just as it is filmed. Because I have no idea what I'm doing with this video. It'll be a test. If for some inane reason people like it, then I'll do more. Hopefully they don't, because it's really dumb. Still hungry. Alright, we'll risk it. We lost a little bit of meat there. Oh, that's looking good though. Ooh, wind almost took that one. Cheeky. There we go. Look at that. That's proper cooking, that is. It's very hot. Actually, can't eat it quite yet. I have to let it cool. What I could do is do a little bit of cleaning. Basically, grab these, and I flip them like so, and just leave them propped. Then I can bring this log back in here. Set it down so it'll burn. I can flip these again and get them in a position so the log burning. It'll burn off that little chunk right there. That one's in the fire, so it'll burn away, but yeah, that stuff that's on the metal right there, basically you can carbonize that and have it all burn away nicely for us. Burn it off the grill. There we go. Focus up. That's not bad. A little burnt. A little caramelized. We'll call it caramelized. There we go. We'll call this 5 out of 10 meal. Losing 2 points because I undercooked it. It'll probably give me food poisoning. And then 3 other points because it was a faff, it was messy, and wasn't really that high quality. But the wasps are attracted to it. So that's a winner. Or maybe not, because they're attracted to rotting meat. Huh. Maybe they're attracted to both. Well, it's not laying the year yet, so they're not angry and stabby yet. I'll have to figure out where that nest is before then. Almost at the hour mark. There is the last bit of food. I shall make you watch and suffer the indignity of a bearded grown man eating poorly cooked food now. By a fire. Like a savage.